Hello and welcome back to Chapter 15 of the Karl Franz saga of Fireside Improv. We left off with Weissenlein having been completely ravished by Vlad von Karstein and the vampires. And since then, another band of undead have moved in. These are entirely different than Vlad von Karstein and the vampires. In fact, they seem to despise the vampires. Karl Franz have consulted with his historians, his lore keepers, and they tell him that they are from the far, far south. What they are doing all the way up in the Empire is unknown. Perhaps they have some axe to grind with the vampires, but whatever it is, they are not going to be allowed to stay in the Empire, whether it is done by diplomacy and coin or through cold, hard steel.
Yes, my lord.
Cedric is being tasked with marching through the mountains and clearing out the wood elves of Athelorn.
I command here.
While Karl Franz is going to march back into Reichland to take a look at what he can do about those vampires and start pushing them back. Rolf Koch is going to give it a little bit more time in Helmgart before also joining the Emperor and starting to push the vampires back and reclaim the rest of the western part of the Empire. Balthasar Gelt also swore fealty directly with the Emperor. The Emperor is going to test out his new weapon on the battlefield as soon as possible and send him up against Averheim. Here's Balthasar Gelt doesn't have to go after Averheim himself as they are coming to him. He is going to stand his ground against a large horde of zombies and other undead creatures. And if he is able to defeat them here, he will have an open path to take some territory back. Balthasar Gelt sits upon his flying steed with staff in hand, looking to annihilate the vampiric threat that has taken hold across the Empire. Gelt deployed his hunters and outriders above his main force to try to catch the enemy, but unfortunately they were hidden deep inside the nearby woods. He is somewhat hesitant to go in there. He'd rather have them come out where his cavalry and archers and crossbowmen will be able to have a greater effect. The Vampire Lord marches out in front of his army and battles Balthasar Gelt in disguise. Gelt is no match for the Vampire Lord one-on-one, but he manages to get the Lord surrounded by his own soldiers firing from the ground, and he hopes that that ends the fight. And he does win the duel, but he needs to get his soldiers back as the lines are closing.
Taking aim! Handgunners! The Empire endures! Moving now! Moving faster!
Another Vampire Lord marches up in front of his army, and Gelt again hopes that he will be able to intercept him and maybe take him down before too much damage can be caused.
Look out! Look to the sky! Crossbowman! Sigmar guides us! To battle! The ground! Illuminate such! Keep your heads down, men! They're casting brace for impact!
The horde of the undead vampires continues to march up the hill. Gelt has already fled the field, and things are not looking up.
Halberdiers! Taking that position! War! They're moving now! Cavalry ready! Don't let the zombies bite! Shield of faith! We are Sigma's. Pass the foe! Take aim! Take their heads! We are back! The Emperor will save us!
Isabel von Karstein herself took to the field in this battle to help drive away the Golden Order.
Emperor's mercy on us all! To the enemy! The Empire endures! Our steeds are restless! Take the ground! Taking position! Brace on!
Orion comes looking for a peace treaty. The Emperor would like one, but not until the mountains are cleansed. So for now, he is declining that offer. Balthazar Gelt was defeated, though he did take a lot of the elite soldiers of the vampires along with him. He hopes that it was enough to at least slow them down. Though further north, vampires once again moved into Reichland and eliminated the Weissenland Elector Count. The Emperor is in a position to come back and counter this aggression, and so he is going to move quickly.
I am Prince and Emperor. Step to it.
Yes, my lord.
By Sigma's right. Step to it. It is for the
Ralph
best.
Koch is also going to
True
join
servant
the
of
Emperor on
Sigma.
his expedition against the vampires. With a lot of extra cash in his bank, the Emperor is also going to start to improve some of his infrastructure, get a little more coin in the background so that he can sustain greater and greater armies. Ratmen have also come down from the south to attack Fort Sol. It is a war that the Emperor joins to help bring friendship with the Wars of Clan Engrund, and now he is paying the price. He hopes that these allies are worth it. The Skaven have come out of their tunnels, the deep places of the world, to attack Fort Sol and stream into the Empire. If they're not held here, the Emperor could have greater things to be concerned by than just vampires. Because of the great catapults that the Skaven brought into the field to assault the city, the defense has decided that he is going to hold deep inside of his city. He's going to abandon most of the walls, except for manning the towers and hoping that he can hold them in the fort streets.
Sigma!
With the second army of the Skaven having joined the fight, they are now marching forward to the city, and they're going much wider than the defenders were hoping, and eating up the juicy undefended portion on the left side of the walls.
We have made them! Turn them to rats! At speed! By Ulrich's wrath! Break that machine!
The great rat leader comes straight through the gates fearlessly to take down the defenders that are holding their ground or trying to hold their ground up the middle of the city. The defenders are already fleeing inside of the fort, and still the rats continue to climb and climb like a never-ending horde. The defenses of Fort Sol were easily overrun by the Skaven, who are now free to stream forward into the Empire. Scouts report that the ruins that are in the southern part of the mountains are actually infested by Skaven. And so the Emperor decides that he needs to revisit the peace offering that Orion had made.
Lord of the Asrae!
He's not in a position to fully challenge the mountains just yet regardless, and so a peace with Orion is in his best interest while he refortifies those southern borders and makes sure that the Empire itself is in a place to withstand both the Forest and the Skaven.
Hoef agrees. Yes, my lord. It is for the best.
With the new peace agreement in place, the Emperor brings Thadric back in towards Reichland so that he too can help against the vampires. Ralph and the Emperor continue to march towards Grunberg to reclaim the city. Once again, it is not having the greatest time as it keeps getting sacked, first by the Wood Elves, then by the vampires, and then the vampires again just for good measure. So the Emperor hopes that he can bring them back one last time and maintain peace there. He also wishes to fortify his army with a wizard. His first he's had in quite a while.
Heirlooms of magic, come.
A vampiric army has arrived to reinforce Grunberg. It's not going to be as easy as a fight as the Emperor had hoped, but together, between the Emperor's army and Ralph Koch's army, his new brother in arms, he hopes that it will be enough to eradicate them so he can continue to push on towards Nuln and retake Wissenland.
I am Franz. They will obey. So? Men, war calls! The comet come! Summon arcane artifacts.
Altogether, the forces are more than enough, as the army of Bernhof von Karstein is filled with shaft zombies and skeletons, nothing that the Empire can't handle. Reichland has been secured once again.
Here.
And they stop and pause to rest before marching on to the city of Nuln.
What?
Meanwhile, Phaedric also marches forward to be in a position to support as needed. With his armies finally assembled, the Emperor is ready to push back and start his war against the von Karsteins in earnest. They've had a few border conflicts, a few skirmishes here and there. The city of Grunberg has unfortunately been at the center of those, but the Emperor is now ready to push forward and start taking these cities back for the Empire. Rudiger von Sinkler pulled back his army from Nuln, leaving it exposed. The Emperor decides, instead of taking his entire forces against it, he's going to split up his forces and try to take as many territories as he can.
Battle! Cast evil out!
While Ralph goes after Nuln, the Emperor himself is going to go after Flensburg.
I see no other option. Raise your weapons.
Phaedric is going to see what is up with the additional undead that have come from the deep south. The Emperor will give them a chance to turn over the settlements peacefully, but if they choose not to, he is prepared to go to war with them and take them back by force. Regardless of the type of undead they are still undead and do not belong in the Empire. Vlad realizes his position of weakness and has come forth to offer peace to the Emperor, but after all the devastation that has been caused, even with the skaven threats, the Emperor just cannot let that slide. He is going to push him all the way back to Sylvania and hopefully kill him entirely so that he can never plague the Empire again. Ralph Koch is ready to attack the city of Nuln. He has built his great siege towers, and they are ready to take the walls and kill any undead that is still going to hold out within the city. Archlector Ralph Koch sends his siege towers forward to take the dead city. There are soldiers in there that would love to come out and join the Emperor. They're currently in hiding from the undead minions who are in control. The Archlector's plan is simple: to take the walls, take the gates, and swarm in. Nothing terribly fancy here against an inferior force. The undead forces don't even bother to hold the walls, which gives the Empire all the easier path into the city. Once the Empire forces made it to the wall, the Undead did decide that they should, in fact, try to hold it. So fighting did break out and is a bit fierce. Despite their terrifying appearance, skeletons don't actually fight all that well, and they are dispatched at the top of the wall by the stout hearts and arms of the Empire soldiers. Skeletons stream out of the city to try to catch reinforcements coming up the walls, but they are intercepted by the blazing lances of the Empire's cavalry.
Kill them! The rest will fall away! Fight! Behead them!
With their last-ditch efforts failing, the magic sustaining the undead forces dissipates, and the city of Nuln is finally back under control of the Emperor. With Nuln under the Emperor's control, the paths ahead are clear to retake Weissenland and to push further east to start the long march towards Sylvania to put Vlad von Karstein back where he belongs and hopefully kill him entirely so that he can never rise again.